Hi everybody, welcome back to Defy Aging, week 22. And of course, I am Coach Allison to review everything with you as always. So this week we have one circuit on the turf of 7 exercises, 7 stations, and they're going to go through it for 3 rounds. And each round is going to be timed a little bit differently. So we're going to have the same rest time. I just had a cookie, so pardon me. But the work time is going to change. So we're going to start with a 20-second on work time, 30-second rest. Second round is going to be 30 seconds on, 30-second rest. Third round is going to be 40 seconds on, 30-second rest. So yes, that work time is going to increase a little bit with each round. Again, 7 stations, pretty straightforward there. Let's get through those demonstrations. All right, station 1 is a wall sit. Haven't tossed this in for a little while. Definitely done it before. All you need is some wall space. So you start by leaning against the wall, and then as you crawl your feet out, you're going to also slide down, okay? Bending those knees, very important. So we're not just keeping the legs straight and sliding down like this, but we are bending the knees, kind of like holding an isometric or a holding squat. And this is what we do for the duration of the set. So we want, if able, you want to try to get a 90-degree bend in your knee. That means your thighs are going to be about parallel to the floor. That is going to be the hardest way to hold this. So if we aren't able to quite get that low just yet, that's okay. You hold it as low as you're able right now. The stronger you become over time, you can start to work on getting that parallel, that lower hold. We don't ever hold lower than 90, so we don't go past parallel, okay? Very important that your feet, or ankles I should say, are right under your knees. We don't want the feet or the ankles to be behind the knee, and I'll show you what I mean by that. See how my knees are sticking out here, but my ankles are back here? That's bad pressure on the knees, so we don't want to do that. So that's why you do want to step the feet out a little bit and then come down. It should be basically straight up and down from your knee to your ankle, not backward like this. Also, last thing I'll say, keep your back at all times against the wall fully. We're not coming forward like this, okay? All right, so that is station 1. That's our wall sit. Station 2, we're going into a core focused exercise, also a little bit of balance here. It's a bird dog. Haven't done this one for a while either. You're on your hands and knees. You want to keep a neutral neck at all times. So you're always going to be looking straight down at the floor beneath you. You're not going to be drooping your head any further, but you're also not going to be looking straight up. So a neutral neck. We lift my whole body in the frame. Yes. We lift one leg straight back. Try to straighten it out as best you can. So we're trying not to, I should show you the leg. Straight back if you can. We're trying to not keep it bent like this, because by putting it straight back, that engages the hamstring and the glute. So if you're able, straighten it out all the way, and the opposite arm goes forward, kind of like the starting position of one of our warm-up movements. And then hold it for just a second, bring it down, switch sides. Everything is slow moving and controlled. The pauses at the top position are important. That means you have the balance. You're squeezing those muscles for a second. So we're not just doing this really fast and kind of half movements. Squeeze, pause, and down. Squeeze, pause, and down. You can do that exact thing on an incline for anyone staying off the floor. Grab a bench or a box or whatever type of benches your club has. Soft bend your knees, just for safety of the knees. We just never want to lock the knees in, that's all. But still with the neutral neck, everything, all the cues are the same. Now you might not be able to get the leg perfectly straight out, so it might be a little bit lower, that's fine. But otherwise, all the cues are the same. You still want that pause. You're slow and controlled. And you can do the same thing on the incline. So that's our bird dog station. Next, we have mini band abductions, hip abductions. We want something to hold on for this one. We're not going to focus on the balance at all, because we won't be able to focus on the movement as much, because we'll be more focused on the balance. So we're going to do this one near a wall or a rack to use for balance. We want the mini band around the lower shin, so not quite exactly just the ankle, but just like the lower shin. And use this stabilizer here And we do an abduction is leg going outward, pushing against the tension outward. And it's important you don't bring the feet all the way together because then the band slips completely down. So stop the band when there is, stop the leg when there's still a tiny bit of tension so the band doesn't fall all the way down. And slow, controlled movements outward. Want to avoid excessive leaning, like to compensate. So try to keep your body relatively still. Anytime you shift your weight to one leg, there's going to be a little bit of a tilt. So this is normal, but we're trying not to, come like way over here. Yeah. So it's really easy to switch sides halfway through each set. All we have to do is turn around and continue on the other side. So you will lose 1 or 2 seconds to spin. Halfway through the set, though, we will change sides. Next station, we're going to hit those triceps, the backs of the arms. So we're going to do a band tricep push down. Okay. We've done this before, but I don't throw arm isolation into the workouts too often because actually we get our biceps and our triceps indirectly with a lot of our back and our chest work. But it is nice to toss in occasionally for some variety. So we have the resistance band tied up somewhere high, anchored up somewhere high. This one can be tricksy for form. So coaches are going to be watching everybody, helping them out with this. Palms are facing forward or down. Same thing, kind of, because they're forward at the start of the movement and then they're facing down at the bottom of the movement. But the hardest thing with this exercise is keeping the upper arm still. We see a lot of people lifting the whole arm up at the top of the movement, or pushing too far back. So it's actually a really small movement overall to keep it nice and isolated. So we're not doing big arm movements like this. So that's the first cue. As you can see, I'm keeping my upper arm right along my side. So I'm not letting it come way up here, not pushing it way back here. So think of the elbow pinned, like there's a pin that goes through your elbow and connects right into your rib cage. So it's just, it can't go anywhere. It's pinned in, if that helps. Other thing that's common is shoulder shrugging as a compensation. So when you're pushing that weight down, kind of compensating by shrugging those shoulders. So we also don't want to do that. So shoulders stay down away from the ears and elbows stay pinned in at your side. Okay, I like to stagger my stance. You can kind of see that already. That's my preferred way of standing. If you stagger your stance, you put most like 90% of your weight on that front leg. The back leg is just kind of a kickstand. You can stand parallel feet if you would like. That's just a preference thing. All right, band tricep push downs. Let's isolate those triceps this week. All right, we've got our cardio station. It's going to be crisscross jumps. Okay, so yeah, I got a jump rope here laid out, stretched out. You can also use, it's pretty long. That's good because it gives you more distance. But if for space reasons, you need to keep it a little shorter, you can also stretch out a resistance band, the same thing we just used for the tricep push down, and it's a little shorter, so it'll save some space. But you need something to jump over. Now, what we're going to do is start like this, 1 foot in front, 1 foot behind, and do like a scissor jump. We're also going to do that as we travel down the length of this jump rope. So I'm jumping my feet forward and back over the rope, and I'm also traveling down. Then when you get to the end, of course, come back the other way. It's cardio because it's jumping, a little coordination because we're trying to clear that rope so we don't hit it. So you have to pick up your feet. Anyone doing no impact, it's going to be more of a fast foot type of drill. So more agility, but still a lot of cardio. So you're going to go over and back quickly. So keep those knees nicely bent at all times. That helps with the speed and agility. So you're going over and back nice and quick, but still going down the length of the rope at the same time. So that's going to be our crisscross jumps for our main cardio focus station. Next station is Superman. We haven't, another one I guess I was feeling nostalgic, or I don't know, going to ones that are very good staple exercises that we just haven't done for a while this week. Anyways, Superman. Lying on your stomach, pardon me, and arms are straight out Legs are straight out, as you can see. Keep the neck neutral. Like once again, same as the bird dog. So we're not going to be looking up. This is very important because when you're doing the Superman reps, the repetitions, it's common to like try to use the head like this to get up. So we really want to avoid doing that. So keep the head looking down, your nose pointing at the floor at all times. And I'll show you what I mean by that right now. So we lift the legs and lift the chest, and the arms just go with the chest. And when you're lifting your legs, you're not bending your knees. You're kind of trying to lift the whole, the leg as a whole. So going back to what I said about the head, so I don't even like to do a couple reps to show, but I'm going to just to show you what not to do. We're not doing this with the head, okay? Because that's just, you're cranking your neck back. You can definitely pinch a nerve back there, pop something in your neck. So keep your head down while you're doing your reps. You're trying to get as much of your chest off the floor as you can for those. The back exercise, believe it or not. Okay, now anyone not getting on the floor, there are a few options for you. It'll depend on what your gym has, how many people are in your session, also ability of each person, because some of them are a little more, even the modifications, some are a little trickier than the others. Let's go over a few options. One of the options is a stability ball. Now, if you have one of these gigantic ones, the size isn't on it, but it's this huge. We have this really big one. The bigger one is better. You can kind of lie on it like this first. You're going to use your feet, of course, to kind of stabilize you. Put your hands behind your head or straight out. I like to just place my fingers behind my ears. And you just do a little same kind of thing. You're just kind of doing the Superman by, I guess it's like a reverse crunch. You're lifting the torso same way people are doing on the floor. You, of course, cannot lift your legs. So the legs are not involved like people that are doing this on the floor. That's one option. That's a little tricky. But it's a great option. So that's one modification option. Okay, and then I'm not going to go over to the weight room area because it's busy over there, but then the other two options is an incline bench. You would lay your torso on the incline bench, exactly like I just did on that ball, and you could kind of lift your torso up and down like that, but you're fully supported with a bench. And there's also a low back extension machine, and your coach would review what that is with you. That's a whole apparatus that is just for coming down like this and coming back up. But again, you're fully supported, and it's a whole apparatus for that. That's going to be somewhere else in the weight room area, though. So depending on your gym's layout, it might not be very functional to add into the session. So there is a lot of different options there. Every session might look a little different for modifications for Superman. We'll see how it goes. And last but not least, last station, I guess it depends where you start. Dumbbell farmer's carry. Oftentimes you do these with kettlebells. We're just gonna do the variety of dumbbells this week. Neither one is better or worse. I just realized I have two different dumbbell weights here. So don't do that when you make sure you have the same set. Okay, it's just gonna feel weird. Anyways, grab your dumbbells. Shoulders, check your shoulder position first before you start walking. So take those shoulders. The check for that is going up, back, down, and lock them in the down and back position, chest out. And then you just go for a slow, controlled walk. We know farmer's carry. It doesn't have to be slow motion. Like, you're not trying to go excessively slow, but it's slow enough to be controlled. You don't have to hold the weights out from your body. They're just comfortably, because think if you have, you're carrying something super heavy, there's no need to try to hold it out. So just let them hang comfortably at your side. Again, that posture is very important. Keep the chin kind of tucked in and back so we're not sticking the chin forward. Chest out, posture, all that good stuff. Okay? Oh, yeah. And we're trying not to allow the weights to swing or jiggle or wiggle. I want you to picture that you are carrying 2 full buckets of water and you're trying not to let the water spill, okay? So they're trying to hold them nice and still. That's our dumbbell farmer's carry station. And I want to encourage everybody to go nice and heavy on this. Good for strengthening your grip, first of all. But we're not squatting with it. We're not curling it. We're not doing a row with it. We're not pressing it overhead. And we're learning to carry heavy weight. Farmers carries and simply holding something heavy, people do tend to gravitate towards weight that is much lighter than what they can do for this one. So I want to encourage everybody to, whatever weight that you might want to be tempted to select, I would encourage you to go to the one weight, the one set heavier than that for this. And I promise that you can do it. So choose a nice heavy weight for this, and let's get some farmers carries. Okay, and our team builder, it's going to be another one that's going to be hilarious for me to demonstrate by myself, because this is going to be a nice big team activity. So anyway, everyone's good. I forget what I called it. Kind of doesn't really matter. Medicine ball slam to a lateral pass. Pardon me. Your whole, all of you will be lined up laterally. So like everyone's going to face the same way, but my next fellow defier would be here, lined up, side by side. I'm going to be the starter line. I'm going to do 2 slams. 1, 2, and then I'm going to do a lateral pass to the person next to me. They're going to do 2 slams, and then they're going to do that lateral pass and do that all the way down the line. Then we're going to come back this way. When you do that lateral pass, so you need to be far enough apart to get a little bit of a toss. So make sure everyone is like at full arm's length from each other. They're not like, the next person isn't like right here. Be far enough apart. When you do the lateral pass, get a little pivot with your foot, a rotation with your torso, because we're trying to work these rotational movements here, the core muscles. Pivot your foot. That's all part of that type of a movement. Going to get a couple of those slams, and your coach might change it. They might have you do 5 slams or 3, depending on how much time you have left available in your session time. So it might look a little tiny bit different than that, but that's the main overall gist of that. And yeah, have fun, team effort, cheer each other on. You might want to go for speed, see how fast you can get down and back, or your coach might have you go just for a full minute and see how many times you can get down and back. Have fun with it, and it'll be a nice little team cardio finisher. All right, that wraps up week 22. Hope you enjoyed this workout. See you back for week 23.